Hello, this is Dave, and welcome to Equity Story. I'm with the one and only Wolf, and it's Happy Monday. Is that such a thing? Happy Monday, and the just to let you know, it's obviously just general share advice and not personal advice, as per the disclaimer on the website. Now I've got all that out, Wolf, and Wolf's happy. He survived COVID. He thought he might have it. He doesn't at the moment, so we've still got a fit and a healthy Wolf for this week.
Yes, had a nice little session of mining money on Saturday, Dave, and it was actually very apt because this space, the mining space, is flying at the moment, and you can potentially make some nice cash.
Well, to be honest, Wolf, going through Einstein's over the weekend, it was most of the other sectors were pretty quiet. The only two really were sort of commodities, materials, and energy. Those two sections were really the only ones that were really trending. Except we did actually put a tech stock as a hot stock. A little bit encouraged, Wolf, about the tech fight back in America on Friday night, which we thought was good. But of course, we like this price action. And you know what I'm glad about? We didn't have any announcement this morning of Whisper. So hopefully we're going to get a good announcement of this company over the next 2 weeks, Wolf. And we'll get that next leg. I also like the risk reward. It's not far from trend lines. So there's a nice little stop loss at the end of the week around 245. So just a few little boxes ticking, and obviously that recent price action we've had in the stock was extraordinarily good. Wolf, I'm just going to go on a few of the trends. So Weebit hit a nice target price for us, so a really good profit we've made on Weebit. Of course, if you're in that story, you're very welcome to keep lifting your stop, and if you're going to lift your stop, maybe you're going to put your stop around sort of 339. So another tick for the trending stories. What I also would like to say is it's a sort of market, Wolf, and we're going to be a little bit more sort of, I think, helping people now, because with new website, it's very clear. Everything's a lot sort of clearer, I think, what we're up to, and this sort of market it doesn't do any harm to be a little bit more aggressive. Now, obviously Whitehaven, we took a profit. Now, if you missed the profit, take it. So it's a nice little 5-6%. That's sort of good money, and NHC. So if you're in the NHC trade, we got in at about 220, 223. Again, I'd take that profit. I think it's a nice little profit.
Especially Dave, there was on, I think, Friday, their CEO resigns suddenly. So you probably maybe want to take a profit on something like this on NHC.
Definitely, and I think it's been helped by some very, very sort of strong, prices over the weekend on coal, Wolf, right? But yeah, definitely. So take a profit there, and again, a nice little, 6-7%. It's good money in a month, so you definitely take it and be happy with that, definitely. The other thing that I would look to do, be a little bit careful of iron ore. Now you can see iron ore starting to come down a little bit. A few articles in the press, Wolf, this morning just saying, we're coming. There's reasons for the iron ore price to hold up, but I wouldn't be too greedy. And I think and we got sort of a nice little 5% on FMG in a pretty small time. There's nothing wrong with taking that profit either, right? We can always have a look where it is at the end of the week and buy it back again. But just don't be greedy. Don't be greedy, and we'll take a profit there, and we'll look to put the money somewhere else.
Agree.
So 2 profits taking this morning, and happy about that, Wolf. So 3 with WHC, so excellent, and Weebit as well. So good to see these good to see these equity story trends sort of working for us. Now, and again, equally sort of just don't be greedy. This is a market where it's up and down. Don't trust it. So if you're making good money, just don't go for it. Now, let's talk about some of the companies that put out announcements today. And the first one I'm going to go for is PRO. Now, Wolf,
yes.
What did you make of the announcement? Because pre-tech sell-off, and this one's held up very well. We're very, very bullish on the story, and we made a lovely profit on trending this. We said to everyone, sort of hold on, stop loss. This could go higher. Do you think on this announcement, even with the tech pain, this could go for a run higher, at least 180?
Well, Dave, if you look at the business momentum, the update today, right? So I'm just looking at the sales growth and the company's ARR, which is the annual recurring revenues. So if you look at FY21, they had 10.74 mil, right? First half FY22, it's already 15.54. So that, let's say they double that for the full year FY22, that's going to be 30. That's 200% growth, right? That is extremely strong, and hence why we were so bullish on the story when it started to move up, where we think that that Emite subscription business is probably what's driving all this phenomenal performance at the moment. You know, the problem is we just don't know how it's going to be affected by the tech sell-off. And, you know, some stocks we love are just not favored by the market. Some that we love that are still going okay. In this case, this is one that's still doing okay. And hopefully maybe that 200% growth is enough for the markets to keep pushing it up higher. So one, probably to still keep in your portfolio and just keep moving up your stop loss if possible.
Yeah, definitely, and maybe that stop loss is sort of just somewhere under that sort of 120. Wolf, having a look at as it sits at the moment. S32, a little announcement. Anything of interest, Wolf? Because it's trending absolutely beautifully, the story, and in the right space.
Yeah, look, obviously we like the story. Probably one of the top 3 stories in the mining space. Just an announcement today talking about a positive feasibility study ready to go, pretty much with a couple of projects in the US. They're in the base metal space. I think a zinc, lead, and something else in there. And there was another project with manganese in it. So very good project, because they're talking about that it is going to be in the lowest quartile cost-wise. So all up, I think S32 is definitely going in the right direction, and it's looking like it's a nice little trade from here.
All right, Wolf, ABR about to go on the US market, and you know that stock is looking very bullish. It was actually on Einstein's on the weekend. It looks like it's going to go higher as well. I think getting into the US market and listing there might attract a lot more attention.
Everyone hopes so. I mean, it worked for BRN, right? Hopefully it works for 360 as well. We'll see what happens, because it just gives them a bigger audience to play with. Whether the audience is positive or negative on it is another story, but it's a much bigger audience.
Well, DVP. So how's our old friend Bill doing? Is he hitting some? Is he doing any good with DVP?
Look, it was an announcement for actually NX more than DVP, because DVP has farmed out Wind Creek to NX. Fairly okay-ish numbers today that come out of NX. So look, DVP is probably it's just one of those things for them that they're going to probably ride it with NX. More for DVP, I'm looking for what actually Bill does himself. So for me, I don't think it should have too much impact on DVP at this stage.
Thanks, Wolf. PPS. Holding trend very nicely. So I presume the announcement was reasonably strong.
It was, you know, again, growth. Usually, I think the December quarters are fairly quiet with movements, with inflows, but it still come up with a pretty strong result. You know, remember, they are selling the international business, which is a positive. They've had someone sniffing around looking to acquire them as well. So for me, it's still a hold, still positive inflows. So yeah, I'm a holder of this.
Well, if we spoke about SPA, that was a strong announcement, but you know it's not really trending yet, so I wouldn't be sort of investing in it as yet. And to be honest, it's a hard space. It's early days, so a little bit too soon. That story is for us.
Yep. At the moment.
Now PGL, Wolf. So a story that we liked, and we tried to trend it, didn't work. We had to get out of it. Go on, fill us on with their announcement today, because it was very strong.
Yeah, it was, and this is a story that really paints the current picture of what's happening in the tech space, right? You've got a story which came out today, and really saying it's a strong growth, right? And it is when you look at the numbers themselves. You're looking at 85% corresponding prior period growth. You're looking at actual EBITDA almost doubling, right, from the previous year. Actually, more than 100%. It was 4.1 to 9 million this summer around. So it's actually cash flow positive in a way, yet the market's just not interested, right, for some reason. I know it's had a jump today, but generally speaking, it just hasn't been a favorite of the market. And actually, this space is just for one reason or another, has suffered over the last 2 or 3 months. So this is just for me, when you look at stuff like this and they're coming up with really good, decent results still and actual cash flow positive, and the market's not quite super interested, we know that we've got a swimming against the tide type situation where it's very, very difficult to actually make some money on these spaces. So if you are investing, you really have to have that longer term view, because the company's still good. If they can keep coming up with these quarters, eventually the market will wake up and push it higher. But for the moment, it's frustrating.
So really just keep it on the watch list and just watch it carefully, because there's money to be made in here if it can perform.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, MAF, which we spoke about this story, you liked it. It's broken out very, very nicely, Wolf. Why do you like this fundamentally?
Very easy. Upgrades, Dave. Another one today, right? So I think we talked about it previously. That looked good. It was an upgrade cycle. You buy things on an upgrade cycle because you've got that really strong box you tick on a company. Doesn't matter what space it's in, right? If it's an upgrade cycle, as long as it's a positive trend, you get in, and you're probably good chance you're going to make some good decent money on this, because it usually lasts for some time. It's not a one-off type stuff, right? That's just you're putting the odds in your favor in this sort of situation. So another one, you're looking up to 10%, I think. Upgrades, I think, is much smaller at the bottom line, but still looking pretty good. You're still going to be looking at a positive buy, I suppose, on this.
Yeah, what's the sort of long-term growth like? I mean, what was the reasons for the strong growth it had this year?
It's first of all, it's a diversified financial play, right? So it's got, I suppose, when you look at the markets at the moment, there's a lot of M&A activity, right? There's a lot of trading going on. So these sort of things that are going on are very positive for stories like MAF. So you'd be, they've probably got some funds under management too. That's probably going quite well. So you've got a lot of things it's driving this upgrades and share price performance. So if you think that this is going to continue for the next 12 months, you still get in. And you can't sort of say, now that's going to stop, because I still think there's going to be a lot of M&A activity. There's still probably going to be a lot of trading going on. So I'd say just keep riding it for the moment.
All right. So Wesfarmers. So obviously short-term traders are out. It's broken trend.
Yep.
But you wanted to talk about this stock, Wolf. So far away.
Yeah, well, because they come up with an update today. We need to talk about it. Look, it's actually, when you look at it, there's good and bad in that. The really good stuff in that is that they have reiterated the guidance, right? So that is the good thing about it. The bad news is in that they have been hit by COVID, and Kmart and Target in general. And not surprising that there were store closures. And the thing is with Kmart and Target, it's always been problematic for us. That's the one thing I don't quite get, right? We all make mistakes. Wesfarmers is guilty like everyone other company out there. I remember they went with Bunnings in the UK. They got smashed with that. They came back fairly quickly. Wrote up a lot of billions of dollars on that. But this Kmart and Target is another one of those problem childs they've had on the books for such a long time. You think to yourself, just get rid of it. Get rid of it and, play with other things. Like you've just bought API, for example, right? That's the sort of stuff I want to see them play with. So for me, Target and Kmart are sort of old dinosaur type establishments that's really probably not much growth in them. But anyway, that's just my thoughts. I'm actually liking the fact that Wesfarmers is still reiterating guidance, which just shows how good operators they are and how well Bunnings and some of the other things are going. So all in all, look, if you put it on a long-term charts, the monthly charts, because this is one of the top 21, it's still decent. I'm still holding.
Look on the monthly. Yeah. But a lot of these sort of stories are just for all these supply constrictions are just getting sold down, aren't they? I mean, obviously, Woolworths are really suffering. What's Woolworths doing today, Wolf? It's just holding up, isn't it? With Coles, and I think, like we said the other day, any lower. I mean, this one actually did spike lower today. I mean, maybe just opportunities, really.
Oh, it will be. Remember this temporary problems in Australia with lack of workers that can't stake shelves, and so this is temporary. It's gonna sort itself out within the next 3 to 6 months. So there's an opportunity to buy some of these stories much cheaper, like our Wesfarmers, and that's what I'll be looking for. Put a cheeky bit on here and there, right, and I hope you pick it up.
Wolf, LM8.
Mm-hmm.
What's all this one about? So,
nickel, Dave, nickel. It's all about nickel, and today's announcement. I'll tell you what they've come up with, and I'm just looking at it at the moment. 7 meters at 9.22% nickel, right? That is an outstanding result right there. That's why I think it's up today, and that's only from 123 meters, right? That is all three things you're looking for. Remember my Bible of three things you look for. You look at the width, you look at the grade, you look at how deep it is, and that's all criteria that are very well satisfied. 7 meters is very nice, and 90% nickel is excellent, right? 123 is fairly shallow. So for me, that's what you'd be looking for. There's some of the other holes in there. You had 8 meters at 2.5% nickel, which is still not bad from 97, and they're going to have another hole 6 meters at 3.67. So there's something there to certainly trade, I'd say, no doubt.
All right, and the market cap is sensible. Will it be about 70 million?
Yeah. So you've got an opportunity to trade this fairly regularly. I think you buy if you're in it. You see the shoot up today. You probably want to take a profit if you're in it. Wait for a bit of a pullback when the short-term sellers sell down. You buy again, and you hope for the next round of results are going to be similar to this.
Yeah, unfortunately, Wolf, I don't think we've got anyone in this. This was it didn't do enough on Einstein's.
Oh my God! There's no insiders in this one. Amazing.
I'm sure there's plenty of insiders in it. But just having a quick look, have a little look at Einstein's, and you can see, like we said, these obviously the buy signals going through. I think RLC had quite a nice buy signal, up a nice little 12%. And INF had a nice little buy signal. It's moved up very, very nicely. But just having a look at these energy stocks, you can see a lot of green here, Wolf, and it's certainly still a sector. PAM having a nice move up, another 14%. ARR, obviously rare earths, again, nice little 10%. But the rule of thumb, guys, don't be greedy. If you can lift your stop loss, fine. But if you can make 5-6% in a very short amount of time, or even 3% in a day, it's absolutely it's excellent money. Please don't be greedy. This is a sort of market where these trends are going to be 1 minute they'll be good, and next minute sentiment can change quickly. One thing that did look good, is nice to see it's up 5%, is VUK. So Rule Britannia there, Wolf.
Yeah, look, you've got to have some sort of positivity, because the Ashes was an absolute disaster. 2 hours. I was watching 2 hours on yesterday, and it was the best 2 hours I've ever seen of cricket. Not for the Australians, it was.
I'll say no more. Poor old Poms.
Got to have some positivity. So well done to the UK.
Yeah, that's all right. They're World 50 champions, so they've got something to be happy about. But Wolf, the other one I thought, although tech's not looking good, obviously Weebit looks good, and we made a profit, so you can lift your stop loss there. RVS looks very, very good, and it's up a nice little 12%. CF1, which I don't know much about, but nice looking chart, Wolf, and that's up 5%. And obviously, we've got Whisper in there, which hopefully that will be a good one for us. And I liked, out of the telecom stories, I really like the ICI chart, iCandy. I don't know if somebody, obviously they call it telecommunications. It's under that, but this is video games. I don't know. How does that work under telecommunications? I suppose.
I think it's quite an expansive sector, so they just chuck a few things in there. as long as they've got maybe some sort of communications in there. Maybe there used to be a communication company and they still haven't moved them out of that. But anyway, look, there's one story that looks pretty good on charts, David, that maybe ticks some other the boxes. It's tech, but it ticks other boxes such as environmental, and that's EVS. That's, we've been following for some time. EVS, that's starting to look decent again. Maybe one to put on your watch list.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if it can hold that sort of price action, that's what it looked like at the start of the week, sideways. But it just, if it could look like that by the end of the week, hopefully it could have a move up. But I'd be waiting till the end of the week, Wolfie.
Yep.
Apart from that, Wolf, we haven't put out a trend, but we have been taking a few profits. Did you have anything else to add?
No, look, I think you've pretty much summarized right at the beginning is that the sectors that are trending at the moment is definitely the material space. That's why, you've got plenty to play with from the weekend, from the Einsteins. And, it's much harder work on the tech front, no doubt. But still, there are a few stocks that are still going okay. So it's not a complete disaster, but we just got to be wary. It's just much harder to see those gains than, if you close your eyes and just pick something that's lithium and it just goes up.
All right. On that note, Wolf, thank you very much, and look forward to obviously doing this tomorrow. Thank you, Wolfie.
All right. Cheers. Bye.
Bye.